last week, but I'm not positive. Yeah, last week we went forward, so this week we definitely did a lot better. With a few surprises this week. Starting off with Thursday night, Philadelphia at the New York Giants. We picked Philly to win, but they actually ended up losing. Jalen Hurts was 24 of 33 for 283 yards, one touchdown and a pick. Jackson Dart was 17 of 25 for a touchdown for 195 yards. Hurts had 283 yards. Saquon had 58 yards on 12 carries, and Cam Scatabo had 98 yards on 19 carries and 3 touchdowns. Dallas Goedert was the Eagles' leading receiver with 110 yards on 9 catches and a touchdown. Wan'Dale Robinson had 84 yards on 6 catches and a touchdown. Our second game was the Broncos at the New York Jets, even though it took place in London. We picked the Broncos to win, and we were right. It's getting easier to pick against the Jets because they're a dumpster fire. I still believe in Aaron Glenn. I think it's just going to take a while for him to build the team how he wants it. Bo Nix was 19 of 30 for 174 yards and a touchdown. J.K. Dobbins had 14 carries for 40 yards. And Evan Ingram had 5 catches for 42 yards. Nate Adkins had the lone touchdown for Denver. Actually, for the entire game, that was the only touchdown. Justin Fields was 9 of 17 for 45 yards. 9 sacks for 55 yards. Absolutely astonishing. Brees Hall had 22 carries for 59 yards. Josh Reynolds had 3 catches for 25 yards. Just an absolute gross game. The Arizona Cardinals at the Colts. We picked the Colts. We were correct. Kyler Murray was hurt, so Jacoby Brissett got the call. He was 27 of 44 for 320 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Bam Knight had 11 carries for 34 yards and a touchdown. And Zay Jones had 5 catches for 79 yards. Indiana Jones had 22. He went 22 of 30 for 212 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Jonathan Taylor had 21 carries for 123 yards and a touchdown. And Tyler Warren had 6 catches for 63 yards and a touchdown. Cleveland at Pittsburgh. We picked Pittsburgh. We're correct. Dylan Gabriel was 29 of 52 for 221 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. Quinshon Judkins had 12 carries for 36 yards and no touchdowns. Harold Fannin Jr. had 7 catches for 81 yards and no touchdowns. Aaron Rodgers was 21 of 30 for 235 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jalen Warren had 11 carries for 52 yards and no touchdowns. DK Metcalf had 4 catches for 95 yards and a touchdown. Dallas Cowboys at the Carolina Panthers. I can't believe I chose Dallas. But they lost, so that's the silver lining. Because you guys know how I feel about Dallas. Dak was 25 of 34 for 261 and 3 touchdowns. Javonte Williams had 13 carries for 29 yards. George Pickens had 9 catches for 168 yards and a touchdown. Bryce Young was 17 of 25 for 199 yards, 3 touchdowns and a pick. Rico Dowdle had 30 carries for 183 yards. He got all them yards and no touchdown. And Rico Dowdle had 4 catches for 56 yards and a touchdown. That man was doing it all. The Los Angeles Rams at the Baltimore Ravens without Lamar. And a lot of their starting players still, I do believe. We picked the Rams. We got it right. Stafford was 17 of 26 for 181 yards and a touchdown. Kyron Williams had 13 carries for 50 yards and a touchdown. Tyler Higbee had 4 catches for 40 yards and a touchdown. Cooper Rush was 11 of 19 for 72 yards and a pick. And Tyler Huntley was 10 of 15 for 68 yards. Derrick Henry had 24 carries on 122 yards. Zay Flowers had 6 catches for 46 yards. The Chargers at the Dolphins. We chose the Chargers. What a close game that was. Herbert was 29 of 38 for 264 yards and 2 touchdowns. Kamani Vidal had 18 carries for 124 yards. And Ladd McConkey had 7 catches for 100 yards and a touchdown. Tua was 21 of 32 for 205 yards, a touchdown, and 3 picks. Devon Achane had 16 carries for 128 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jalen Waddle had 6 catches for 95 yards and no touchdown. The Patriots at the Saints. We chose the Patriots. Drake May was 18 of 26 for 261 and 3 touchdowns. He was also their leading rusher on 9 carries for 28 yards. No touchdowns. Keyshawn Boot had 5 catches for 93 yards and 2 touchdowns. Spencer Rattler was 20 of 26 for 227, no touchdowns, no picks. Alvin Kamara was 10 of 31, 10 carries for 31 yards and no touchdowns. Chris Olave had 6 catches for 98 yards and no touchdowns. The Seahawks at the Jags. We picked the Seahawks. Sam Darnold was 16 of 27 for 295 and 2 touchdowns. Kenny Walker III had 10 carries for 34 yards. Jackson Smith and Jigba had 8 catches for 162 yards and a touchdown. Trevor Lawrence was 27 of 42 for 258 and 2 touchdowns. Travis Etienne Jr. had 12 carries for 27 yards and no touchdowns. Brian Thomas Jr. had 8 catches for 90 yards and a touchdown. The Titans and the Raiders. We chose Tennessee, and we were wrong, and I do believe they fired their head coach. So maybe that's a win for them in disguise. Cam Ward was 26 of 38 for 222, 1 touchdown and a pick. Tony Pollard had 10 carries for 34 yards. Van Jefferson had 4 catches for 75 yards. Geno Smith had 17 of 23 for 174, 1 touchdown and a pick. I don't know how many games in a row that is that he's thrown a pick, but I feel like it's a lot. Ashton Genty had 23 carries for 75 yards and a touchdown. Trey Tucker had 5 catches for 70 yards and no touchdown. Cincinnati at Green Bay. They had just traded for Joe Flacco, and I really didn't want to pick Green Bay, but I did, and they won. I picked them before I learned about the trade of Joe Flacco. Flacco was 29 of 45 for 219 and 2 touchdowns. Chase Brown had 9 carries for 42 yards. And Jamar Chase had 10 catches for 94 yards and a touchdown. Jordan Love was 19 of 26 for 259, 1 touchdown and a pick. Josh Jacobs was 18 of 93 for 2 touchdowns. And Matthew Golden had 3 catches for 86 yards. The Niners at the Bucks. I think the Niners lost Fred Warner for the rest of the year on a hyperextended knee or something. dislocated ankle or something like that. But yeah, I chose Tampa. Mac Jones was 27 of 39 for 347 and 2 picks. Christian McCaffrey had 17 carries for 54 yards and a touchdown. And Kendrick Bourne had 5 catches for 142 yards. Baker Mayfield was 17 of 23 for 256 and 2 touchdowns. Rashad White had 17 carries for 65 yards and a touchdown. And Cameron Johnson had 4 catches for 64 yards and a touchdown. My Lions at Kansas City. Obviously, I chose my team, and Kansas City looked a little bit like their old self, and they picked up the dub. And we played like absolute dog shit. Goff was 23 of 29 for 203 yards. Gibbs had 17 carries for 65 yards. J-Mo had 6 catches for 66 yards and a touchdown. Mahomes was 22 of 30 for 257 and 3 touchdowns. Isaiah Pacheco had 12 carries for 51 yards and no touchdowns. And Kelsey had 6 catches for 78 yards. Our first game of a Monday night doubleheader was Buffalo at Atlanta. I chose Buffalo and Atlanta. Atlanta gets the upset. Josh Allen was 15 of 26 for 180 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 picks. James Cook had 17 carries for 87 yards and no touchdowns. Josh Palmer had 2 catches for 60 yards, no touchdowns. Michael Penix Jr. was 20 of 32 for 250 yards and a touchdown. And Bijan Robinson had 19 carries for 170 yards and a touchdown. Drake London had 10 catches for 158 yards and a touchdown. Chicago at Washington. Well, I don't remember picking Chicago, but congratulations to them. They were our second game of our Monday night doubleheader. And I believe it was a walk-off field goal to win it by Jake Moody, if you can believe that. Caleb Williams was 17 of 29 for 252 yards and a touchdown. DeAndre Swift had 14 carries for 108 yards. And he was also their leading receiver with 2 catches for 67 yards and a touchdown. Jaden Daniels was 19 of 26 for 211 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a pick. Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt had 17 carries for 61 yards, no touchdowns. Chris Moore had 3 catches for 46 yards and a touchdown. Well, that was our week 6 review. Now we're gonna make our picks for week 7. Pittsburgh at Cincinnati. This should be a good game. Oh, that's the Thursday game. Two 40-year-old quarterbacks going at it. Pittsburgh has Jalen Ramsey and TJ Watt, and if he's healthy, the Bengals have Trey Hendrickson. It could be a good game. I'm actually gonna go. I don't know who's favored, but I'm gonna go with Cincinnati with the upset. Another overseas game. I think this is our last London game, but I'm not sure. I love Matt Stafford, but I don't know why I'm feeling this way. But I'm gonna go Jacksonville. The Panthers at the Jets. Now, I don't know the Jets' schedule, but this may be one of their last chances to get a win. So I'm going to choose them. Aaron Glenn finally gets it. Well, hold on. I think Garrett Wilson just got injured. Jones fighting in a dumpster. I have no problem with either team, so I don't really care who wins. I'm not really feeling one way or the other on this game. But I also don't think Mike McDaniel or Kevin Stefanski really is going to last. But I'm going to go with Cleveland. Just for fun, why not? New England at Tennessee. Drake May's looking good. Titans just fired their head coach. That might give him some juice. But I'm going to take New England. The Saints at Chicago. I'm going to go Chicago, coming off a big win. I don't remember who the Saints played. Philly at Minnesota should be a good game. Minnesota's coming off a bye. And Philly needs to win to rebuild some chemistry. And I think they get it. The Colts at the Chargers, that should be a fun game. But I am on the Indiana Jones bandwagon, so I'm going to choose them. The Giants at the Broncos. Coming off a huge upset win against the Eagles. I'm going to say the Giants. Why not? The Packers at the Cardinals. I don't think the Cardinals are a full team yet, so I'm going Green Bay. The Redskins at the Cowboys, a divisional game. Both coming off a loss, I do believe. I know Washington is. But it's in Dallas. Jane Daniels' second game back. I think they upset Dallas. Because I want to see Jerry Jones get upset. Atlanta and San Francisco. I don't care how good Mac Jones is playing. The loss of Fred Warner is going to hurt them. I think Atlanta beats them in their own house. The Bucks and the Lions at 7. What a weird time. Whoa, Houston and Seattle at 10. What the hell? Well, it is West Coast. I thought I was seeing things for a second, but that's correct. Tampa comes to our house. I think we hold it down. Yes, we have a banged up secondary, but Tampa has a banged up receiving core. So if we lean on the run and have long drives, I think we'll be okay. Houston and Seattle. Seattle's looking good. Don't really know about Houston. I think they were on a bye, based on the record. I'm going to go with Seattle. And for week 7, Buffalo and Baltimore are on a bye. So, that is our review for week 6 and our picks for week 7. I thank you for those of you that have watched and those of you that have listened. I hope you got some well-needed relaxation and or rest.